afternoon, everyone. How are we? Oh, it's very bright. That was a squeal. Right. Welcome to the stage. We're here to talk about a transformational piece of work, and I'm just going to set the scene for you before I bring in my wonderful panelists here. But in 2020, Renault was in complete crisis. It was hemorrhaging money. In fact, 22 million per day, 8 billion a year. It is now making 13 million a day. So that is one hell of a transformation. So when the new CEO, Luca De Meo, took over, he decided to go all in on electric transition and launch the development of a new range. But the rub was, the new electric range wouldn't hit dealerships for another 5 years. So what were they going to do in the interim? And in France, EVs were just a 2% niche. So this is where you two enter the scene. We have here the CMO of Renault and the CEO of Publicis Conseil to talk about this. And we're going to talk about how you boosted its sales, its desirability in such a short 5 years. So I'm going to start with a question. This is to you, Arnaud. Symbolizing the change, you started with forming a new identity. You began by redesigning the brand. And could you tell us a little bit about that, about the behind the scenes of this reinvention? How did you kick this all off?
Yes, Charlotte, thank you so much for the opportunity. Hello, everybody. The company, yes, was really in bad shape. We were bleeding cash. And to be honest, nobody wanted to buy a Renault in this time. So it was a disaster. So we had no way to escape. We had no choice. So I think the emergency plan was really to change the face of the brand. The problem is that when you want to change the face of the brand in the automotive industry, it takes 10 years to change the retail. It takes 10 years to change the car industry. So you have no time. So advertising is cool for that. You can do it very quickly.
Yeah.
So we started to change the face of the brand, starting from the beginning with the logo. And we reconciliate Renault with the logo, the famous logo of the 70s, the one that everybody knows. So we came back to the roots. And we made a huge work on the graphic design, iconography, retail architecture, font. All the stuff has been changed, website, very quickly. We did that. I remember Publicis got crazy because I arrived on November and I said, we will be ready on March. And they said, no, we cannot do that.
His face says it all.
And we did it. And we did it. Look at that. This is so cool. We are proud of that. And then after we changed advertising, the European advertising was changed in 6 months. The global advertising worldwide was made in 1 year. And that's the way if you think too much, you do nothing.
Yeah.
So we went straight.
So you went straight in, full throttle. And how was that for you then, Marco, as the partner on this project?
Tiring.
Yeah.
And then I have the clicker in my hand that triggers my ADHD, so sorry. And yeah, I just want to click stuff. It was very tiring. No, very tiring, but very important for us to move fast because, as Arnaud said, we were in the middle of a real business urgency. And we do collectively believe, and that's the strength, I think, of the partnership, that marketing communication do have an impact on business. And I think, hopefully, at the end of the talk, you will agree with us.
Okay, wonderful. So you gave yourself 5 years to move electric vehicles in France from a very niche market to a mainstream one. This is a big question, so you can both take this, I'm sure. But how did you go about it? And talk to us about API and Plug-In and Plug-In for Business, all those wonderful things.
Yeah. So maybe, first of all, again, let me give you the big picture. We knew we had a window of time where the new product in the plan for the new range, the new full electric range, will not be ready on the market. So the first thing that we had to do is to prepare the market to receive the product. And if you rewind when everything started, now today electric is way more considered and is growing. But back then it was not so sure that would be the next technology. And it was pretty a big bet from Renault and from Luca to put all that open on that specific technology. So the thing that we decided to do is to basically of course, our job in that situation is more of is the one that change habit.
Yes.
So we decided to tackle the barrier for the electric transition. We knew exactly that one of the main problems for the electric transition is, like every new technology, the barriers are mental barriers often, more than technological ones. And so we decided to tackle one by one. And of course, we could not do that just with classic advertising, because in a way, what we wanted to do is signal a change of behavior. The first one was, of course, the number one, still today, fear for the transition to electric, which is the fact of ending up without battery somewhere. And especially when you are in a remote place, because we have this preconception that electric cars are perfect for city and are terrible for the country. So we did plug-in, spoiler alert. We did the village electric, meaning the happy. We chose the smallest and more isolated tiny village in France, and we just gave them 100% electric car. We gave a Renault Zoe, that at the time was the only full electric accessible model that we had, and we gave it basically to all the people in the village for 3 years. And we documented it, and we made documentary and things like that, and it was very instrumental to challenge this first barrier. So the first barrier of, okay, I can have an electric car just in city, done. The next year we moved to the second barrier, which is again the same one, of the fear of not having a place to recharge.
Yeah.
And to tackle that, we proposed to Arnaud of course we could not do it with a classic TVC, but we decided to propose an app that is working on the same principle of Airbnb, to give the possibility to people in a rural area to give their charge to traveler. The objective is, of course, always the same. On one side, change the habit. On the other side, to keep in mind of people that Renault is the leader of electric, because while the market is growing, if you are the leader, you grow with it.
Yeah.
So we did it. It took a lot of time, took 2 years of development, because of course when that's
you were the Airbnb for cars, basically.
Yes, for plugs. You
For
can
plugs.
You
For
can rent
recharge.
your plug,
For recharge, yeah.
because there is all problem for the way you pay stuff. But again, it was a very strong PR way to signal being a leader. Then we are expanding it now more and more with businesses, because of course there is a fly here. You can stressing me out, clicker, fly.
Oh yeah, it's good. Okay.
I'm lost.
It's moved into the audience now, sorry.
There is. We did it for business, because of course it makes a lot of sense with business. You can, and that's it. And
I've got a stat here that France only had 80,000 public charging stations at the time, and Plug-in helped unlock 700,000 more.
But that's the thing. And now we are working I don't want to spoil too much, but we are working more and more to make it become a very intuitive and accessible way to connect people with plugs, basically, because the infrastructure is the number one real structural barrier. We cannot change that as a brand, but we can empower people to do it among themselves.
Okay. Anything to add to that?
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. So making electric accessible to everyone, that was really the idea behind a lot of this work, wasn't it? And behind a lot of the growth of the brand and the business. And that's obviously the next challenge you had there. So you made the bold choice to target a group that had never been addressed by car manufacturers. These are job seekers. So can you tell us why you chose them as a group and how you did this?
There are many layers. Cars to Work is basically, I tell you the idea in a sentence, is basically the idea of giving opportunity to people that are living in remote areas and they need the car to find a job, because sometimes the job they find is far away from where they live. It's giving them the opportunity to have a period of time where they can have the car without start paying, because the problem, and it's kind of complicated, but the problem that you have is that if you want to buy a car and you need a loan for that car, you need to give a contract. But when you are hired, for the first 3 months, you are in a trial period where it doesn't work as a guarantee for a contract. So we just found this kind of loophole. As a brand, we decided to give the opportunity to the people that were looking for a job this like 3 or 6 months, depends, but normally it's 3 months free. And of course, then at the end of it, when you get the job, you can decide if you want to keep the car or not. What this does, of course, it gives an idea of accessibility and stuff, but at the same time, and it's important that you understand this, at the same time, there's a job that would be impossible to do in another way, which is the one that in France, France is a big country, but there are some urban areas, there's Paris, there is Lyon, but the rest is pretty rural. And a lot of the storytelling, of the media storytelling, is a storytelling that is really against car. Car is the enemy, car is the problem. We want to be in a carless world, which is great if you live in Paris and you have underground stuff. But if you are living in a little village and you need to find a job 20 kilometers away, it's a real big problem.
Yeah, very rural.
So in a way, this helped us as well to be completely transparent. It helped us as well to make clear that a car is more and is something very needed. And that's why it's more important. And the thing that for me is very important, again, we will discuss if we have time, but I feel the stress of the time we don't have.
Well,
because there is a counter that goes like tick, 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 tick.
good. There is, but we're all right, we're all right.
We're right? I'm stressed.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, shit. There are 2 counters.
Good for society, good for business. That's what it's all about.
Clicker.
So, yeah, so... Any more to show on that? Yeah,
I click everything. No, so what I want to tell you about this...
Stop!
No, what I want to tell, last thing I want to say about this, that again, what is interesting, and I think is interesting for us as an industry, I imagine a lot of you are in our industries too, how our role today to be impactful needs to go beyond simple storytelling. Storytelling is key. Of course, you need to find the story, but I think that we have so many other touch points, and when you have a strong partnership with your client, and that's the thing that I encourage more and more, to have client-agency strong relationship, you know all the nuances of the business, and you can come with a powerful way to enhance them. For example, talking about Cars to Work, we were leveraging something that in a way, in a completely different mechanic, Renault was already doing, because Renault was already giving microcredits to people that didn't have access to car. What we came in is just the idea to, okay, let's make it sharp for a specific target audience that is the most difficult one, and then let's use this to position ourselves even as a story. So I think that's the most interesting takeout.
It's a brilliant story, isn't it? And it's good. So 51% of people in France, cars feel unaffordable. So they do feel like a sort of symbol of social exclusion.
And the last thing that's important on that one is that the fact to give the opportunity to these people to buy a new car is a double responsible action, because the alternative is very, very old, cheap and polluting car. So there is all a level, or over level of things that you can achieve with things that are not classic advertising.
Okay. So this has been a journey, as they would say.
Long journey.
A long journey, 5 years. In that time, I'm just going to say 7,500 cars helping secure 7,500 jobs for people, which is a brilliant result. And did these people buy the car after?
I think so.
Probably. You know, it's like a little bit when you drive a car. You know, when you do the driving license.
Yeah.
Very often you buy the car that you were driving for the driving license.
Yeah.
And one thing that you need to know is
And
that
the people they say thank you to us generally. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Automotive is a sector where there is a lot of, how do you say, fidelité?
Loyalty. It's English.
So whatever car you own, you tend to stick to that. So there's a win-on-win-on-win.
So it's hard to move them to another.
It's hard to conquer them, but it's easier to keep them.
Yeah, of course. So long journey for you both. Tell us, this has been obviously a very successful partnership, not only financially, it's also been very successful on the awards circuit, which I know is secondary to the financials and the business growth. Is there anything you would change, Arnaud, if you were to do this again?
Agency.
Yeah. Your creative partner?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No, not at all. I think we did exactly what we said, and we are very proud of that. There is nothing to change. We built a team of senior experienced guys. We international team. We knew exactly how to fix the problem. I mean, I don't know anything else
Yeah.
around market. My job is marketing since ever, and
Yeah.
I'm working in the car industry since ever. So
Yeah.
we are not playing around. So we knew how to fix that, and I came back to Renault. I worked 10 years for Renault in the last century, and then I went all over the world working for American brands, Italian brands. So we
Yeah.
knew how to fix it. So no, it's a fantastic team, fantastic agency. And I was quite surprised because Publicis is part of the Renault history. And
Yeah.
as a newcomer, I would have thought potentially, wow, these guys were part of the past.
Yeah. The
It's easy to say that, you know, when you arrive, you just fire the agency and then you, but so what? We didn't do that. We didn't do that. But basically, I met Marco. Marco was working for Heineken, you remember? James Bond story. Yeah. I was crazy about his job. So I said, come with us. And we did the job, no regrets.
No, fantastic. Wow. Well, that's the result. And we want to hear about what's next then, I'm sure, because clearly this has been such a success story and you have to maintain the momentum, sell more cars, etc. You've removed the mental barriers to electric adoption in France. You've launched the first model of your new electric range, the R5. The R5 isn't just any car. For those car enthusiasts in the audience, you'll know it's an icon. I remember these. Even I remember them. And it was launched in 1972 during a time of major economic change. It became emblematic, like in the 70s and 80s, and a true phenomenon in France and in England, I would say as well, across Europe. You're relaunching it, or you have relaunched it, you are relaunching it this year, but only in an electric version. Can you tell us about that, about what the role the R5 will play in making electric vehicles even more desirable?
When you read the press or when you read automotive press, you see a lot of articles, very often even some fake news regarding people do not want to buy electric cars.
Yeah.
That's completely stupid.
Yeah.
The reality is that we cannot continue driving ICE car because it's polluting the planet. That's all. Because first in France, we don't have petrol. So we are not going to drill. There is nothing to drill. So we have electricity. So electricity, an electric car has no CO2 emission. It makes no noise. The walls are not black in the city, and the trees are okay. So that's it. So the thing is that all manufacturers, I don't know why, the early manufacturers going electric, they went with awful cars.
Yeah.
Like fish. You know, nobody wanted to buy. So it was, nobody wanted to buy because of the news, and nobody wanted to buy because they were not sexy. So we did exactly the contrary. We said, we are going to give the best to the electric. And what is the best? The best is in the past.
Yeah.
The best is the icons.
You're bringing
So
it
what
back.
are the icons? Renault 5, Renault 4, Twingo.
Yeah.
So we are bringing back the icons. And then nobody cares if they are electric or not. They just want to buy them because they are so cool. So that's it. And my job is just to make that super cool.
Renault.com.
Okay? And then the constraints, we break them because autonomy of cars is getting longer now. You can drive 400 kilometers. You can even drive 625 kilometers with the Scenic. So it's not a matter of long range now. It's not a matter of plug-in because infrastructure are going more and more, and also because of plug-in.
Yeah.
So I think things are going in the right direction, and that was our choice, to bring back the icons, because the icons are talking to your heart. And when you are talking to the heart of people, job is done. You see what I mean?
Absolutely. What a brilliant, we are over time. What a brilliant way to end.
Stress.
Everyone.
No, we are good.
No,
37.
we're going to have to.
We are super cool. Look.
No, that's overtime.
Ah, that's
all
overtime.
That's in the red.
No, it's
no,
28.
no.
It's going down. 25,
Hey,
24.
it's not Wimbledon, huh?
Okay. I thought it kind of went over. I thought we'd crossed over like
Do
2
you have
minutes
questions?
ago.
No, I'm joking.
Everyone, go and buy a Renault.
Match point.
Hopefully we'll see Renault win some pencils tomorrow evening.
I-
It's a great contender. We'll touch wood.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
what
if
they
it's
do.
wood. Thank you very much, both of you, for your
Thank you,
time.
Charlotte.
Such a
Thank you.
fascinating story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy.